Good morning.
Morning.
You want to wait for Michael?
The obligatory, anyone else on the COVID list?
No one else to report, but Cedric Wilson may have a chance to come back today, so we're still waiting on his results.
So this is part of the new protocol, right, where he only needs to have the one negative test to come back?
I don't know if we're quite there yet, but based on conversation with Jim this morning, he has a chance. So.
When you say come back today, would that mean in time to take part in practice?
Yeah, practice today, yes.
Marcus was on the practice report. Was that precautionary or did something flare up?
Precautionary. Yeah, just wanted to take a look at, he felt something in the practice, so we just being smart with him.
Is this, given his history and he's been here for a while and the guys know him, is he going to kind of be managed in practice the rest of the way, probably just coming off that injury? Or?
I'll be honest, I think it'll be, we'll see how he does today. I mean, today's not a big workload. Tomorrow will be, a better test. So we'll just see what today brings, and then we'll evaluate tomorrow for the launch practice.
How did Pollard feel after yesterday's session?
Felt good. All the reps that he had assigned to him, he did those. So I really haven't. They're not here yet. They won't get here till 11 o'clock because we're still in the virtual meetings this morning. So so once he gets here, and we'll get him going, and he'll go out and do the pre-practice with Britt, and we'll see where he is.
Are you still just in a mix of the virtual and on-site, and will that continue for the remainder of the season, or are you just looking at it weekly going in?
It's moving target. I know we're in the virtual mode through the weekend, so we'll go virtual today, tomorrow, and Monday, and then then once the league decides, Monday what the plan is, we'll act accordingly. That's our plan. So,
coaches and players love to say control what you can control, and obviously you've got a lot of experience with this, but just how do you compartmentalize the mental aspect of the COVID situation, just not knowing what might be coming your way on any given day?
I think, frankly, last year's experience is extremely helpful. I think, number one, to operate in a virtual capacity last year was a good experience, and frankly, we felt that we didn't do a good enough job. So I think having the off season to really build the templates and go through the off-season program in a virtual capacity has been very helpful. So we've had to turn it on 3 times this year. So just the fact that when we got the news last night after the meetings, we had probably a handful of meetings and just tightened it up, and because obviously when you get the email and all the protocol items come together, you guys make sure you're in line with that, and and the meetings were good this morning. It's just kind of turned it back on, and we did all our meetings virtual, and I think having the experience of doing it the Saints week was definitely helpful. So we're much better prepared to do the virtual, clearly, and I thought it was very smooth.
What time did you get the email for the protocol change, knowing you would have to implement it going forward?
I can't tell exactly when it came in. I didn't get involved probably till after the player meetings, and then, well, frankly, I was in the GPS meeting so probably 4:30, 5 o'clock somewhere there. So
the Giants have added several players to their COVID list this week, which I'm sure for their coaching staff puts things in flux. Maybe they're trying to manage some changes. How does that affect the Cowboys coaching staff in trying to anticipate which Giants players would be available or changes that they're undergoing?
I mean, frankly, we operate a lot like you do. I mean, we're looking for the information, waiting for the updates. There's, looking at the wire when that comes out. Looking for anything. Our personnel department does a good job. They're looking at the internet. So we're, counting on you guys to get us some information out there. We appreciate it, but no, we're really doing the same thing you're doing. So we'll meet today after the players are done, and we'll go through our projected 48, coming off of Wednesday's projected 48, and then obviously we'll just keep watching how we think it's going to match up for them.
Will this be like New Orleans as well, where once you're at the team hotel, it's kind of you're there?
Yeah, full protocol. Can't leave. No visitors. So, and we may not even have a team meeting at the hotel just because we have to we're communicating with our advance people just to see if it fits the protocol. So, we kind of have two plans for tomorrow.
Will you try to leave later than you normally would just because of that, or?
Well, going east, which frankly late enough, and the irony of it is, we actually moved the flight up to leave early because I didn't like how late we got to the hotel in Washington. So as soon as we got the confirmation that we could leave early, then an hour later the email came. So yeah, I'm sure American Airlines is excited to deal with us right now. So we're back to leaving later. So.
Mike, how's Donovan Wilson done this week?
Good. Yeah, no, he's. I thought he had a good day yesterday. So, today he'll go through. But if we increase his reps, we'll see how today goes. But I thought he had a good day yesterday. I thought he looked good.
I got to the win against Washington. You said the defense was kind of had been building towards where they were with the guys coming back. How much have you been surprised by how integral Mike has been? You knew he was talented, but did you figure he would be this big of an element of the defense?
I mean, definitely knew he'd be one of the focal points. I mean, you can see that right away, and I think that's clearly illustrated in how Dan, and the staff have moved him around. So I think anytime you have a player play multiple positions, I think it clearly identifies what we think of him. So, but yeah, he's been very impactful, and I think just the fact of the matter is, his pass rush I think surprised maybe some people early, but he has a great motor to go with all the skill. And and I think the fact that you play him on the ball and off the ball and keep creating targeting challenges for the defense not only helps him, but it definitely helps the others. It creates more one-on-ones for the guys in the front.
We're still a couple of days away from the game, but the preliminary weather forecast shows there could be some steady winds and maybe some gusts. On the hierarchy.
What do you have? I'm just curious. I looked at it this morning.
What's that?
What numbers do you have?
The numbers?
For the wind, the gusts.
Yeah, around 20 miles per hour for not gusts, just steady wind, and we don't have the gusts this early in the week.
So it's going up then.
Yeah. But how does that influence things, wind in particular, of all the elements that can come on game day?
I think the wind's number one. That's the first element that I think affects your decision making. So I mean, obviously you have rain, you have snow, you have wind, and rain. So how you rank those, I have an order, and then there's things you may consider doing. And obviously that stadium too. I mean, it's not the old stadium, but the way the wind moves up there, and frankly that's what pregame's for. I mean, we have veteran kicker and punter. They have really good feedback, and John and I will meet at some point, and then we'll make a decision. Because I think when the wind gets above 15, you have to start to look at that, and it'll factor in some of your field position decisions.
Was the last time you guys had to deal with wind, was that Kansas City, or do you feel like it hasn't really been much of an issue?
I thought the Kansas City going in, I think I was more concerned about it, but I think once we got out there, it didn't move as much as we thought it was going to move going into it. So, you had the win last week coming out of the West, but then it was a swirling wind. So, but the wind was really going east. So I mean, every stadium's different. You have a history on it, but really you have to. That's what pregame's for. And and personally, I'll get there early and go out there and walk and just look at it. Then John will assess it during the pregame, and then we'll make our decisions before we kick off.
We saw the Patriots when it was an extreme wind in Buffalo that really took over their game plan and their play calling. Is that rare, or even in the type of wind that we're talking about, can it influence game plan, not just game management?
Wind? Yeah, I think wind's the biggest influence of weather on your game plan. Number one. Absolutely. Good. Thank you.